Get ready to take a bite of Peach ATL. Peach ATL is Gay Atlanta's longest running LGBTQ business certified weekly magazine. We deliver the best in community events, arts, gay culture, and entertainment. Get weekly high-profile celebrity interviews and coverage of the most important events and festivals. Go to peachatl.com to learn more and get your bite of Gay Atlanta.
Hi, this is Miko Hildebrand, editorial director of Peach ATL Magazine, and we look forward to seeing you in print.
Share that space. You know, I was just actually texting with on social media with Daylon Burnside, who's on Pose. You know, we did B-Boy Blues together. We were the original cast of B-Boy Blues. And I'm so proud of Daylon. That is such a beautiful
I had a chance to meet him because I think he came here to Atlanta for one of the HIV conferences as a special guest. And this particular component was about mental health. And because I think Dominique Jackson came the first year, and then he came the year after that, so I had a chance to meet him and fashion extraordinaire designer Octavius.
Octavius, yeah.
And
good friend.
So it was just so beautiful because I think that happened last year, by the way, and it was just so awesome just to meet him and everything like that, and to look at the next generation and doing what they're doing now. An old guy like me. Just turned 49 last month. I'm looking at them and I think about all of the hell I went through growing up, coming up in the Confederate Bible Belt South, not being able to, really live my authentic self. And I was never, I never lived on the DL. I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
That I was forced into a closet that I really didn't want to be in. And so to see where our young people are now, from your generation on down, to see that, it kind of gives me hope and encouragement.
Right.
What I went through wasn't in vain. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything that my generation and older, everything that we went through and everything that we couldn't do, y'all can do now. And that's because we went through so that y'all wouldn't have to. And I continue to look at it that way. You see what I'm saying? Some people that are still, once they reach a certain age, especially midlife crisis, it's like they become bitter. You know what I'm saying? They become bitter. They become, mean-spirited and stuff like that. But what keeps me away from that is that I just look at the victory in all of this. I look at all the hell we went through, but look at the results.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These young kids now are able to do stuff that we dreamed of doing. But see, they can do that now because we went through the hell. And our struggle and the hell we went through helped to pave the way, so that now they can just that they ain't got to suffer as much. You know what I'm saying? I know we still got a long way to go as a whole, as a community, but we are so far further along than where we was. And so that really is the big blessing that I see with you and everybody else. I mean, it's just so beautiful, man. It really is so beautiful. And go ahead.
I love that. I love what you're saying, because I got to see when it was L and G. And most people don't understand that. It was L and G.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was acceptance and change and fight. And then it became LGB. And then the T came. And now there's an exception. There's an acceptance. Mm-hmm. There's not a tolerance. There's an acceptance.
There you go.
There's a visibility. And now there's not only a representation, but there's a success to it.
Yeah.
Some of these men and women, trans men and women, are not only just in the forefront, in the driver's seat, but they're creating more healthy spaces.
Yes.
For this. So now we're getting to see, this other generation where another torch, because it now is LGBTQ plus.
Plus.
So now there's more representation. There's more ways for people to be able to see and have that identity, to see other people like them. That's what we were doing with Shirts and Skins. Even though Logo tried to make us only skins by putting us in towels, by,
That part.
dancing and all that other stuff.
I
However,
don't know, not talking about them or anything like that, but Logo is half of what they used to be. So hello, but that's another story for another time.
what did they get rid of? What did they get rid of?
Okay,
You never should have let Noah's Ark go. You never should have let us go. You should have
thank
put money into the shows that were original.
thank you.
Because now you're doing replays of Bewitch. Huh?
What they got to do with us? It's like, wait a minute. It's like a lot of these shows that they're replaying is fitting into the heterosexual normative. And you're
Exactly.
supposed to be an LGBT network. So all things from that network is supposed to be original. And it's like the only thing that they got that's original that's going for them is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right. And he took it away.
I mean, RuPaul's Drag Race. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
That's the funny thing. Not just funny, but that, and when we were doing that show, there were 13 to 15 teammates, and you got to see the spectrum within an athlete. And remember, we are athletes that happen to be same gender loving. Please know the difference. Please know the difference. We happen to be this. We happen to be basketball players. We happen to be real friends. We happen to be going through this at that one moment to manifest this. So when we were on that show and putting that show out there, then people got to see another form and another platform. You don't have to just be this. You can be in the ballroom and play ball. He was that. You can have so many different things, and that's why I'm loving. As I've gotten older, I'm like, I can't keep focused on all the acronyms, all the alphabets, but it's important.
It is important. It's important.
Just because I can't keep up does not mean that it's not important.
And what I love about the actual growth and the way that you even said that, which is beautiful, I already know that it's going to get to a point where the community as a whole is going to have to come up with one name to identify all of us. And, at the same time, still each part of the community will still have their own individual communities. Because we know that the trans struggle is a complete, totally unique struggle.
Absolutely.
The lesbian struggle, because they still have to deal with the fact that they are women. And then, with the gay struggle, we deal with gay people of color, which is a totally different type of struggle. Then those who are bisexual, they have their own struggles. Those who are intersex have their own struggles. Those who identify themselves as queer, which is more of the next generation, have their own ideologies and struggles. So I think the time is going to come where there's going to be a consensus to where we're not going to have to, we have to kind of pull away just the letters and we just come up with one name that can identify all of us now, at the same time still honoring the individual spectrums and divisions of our community. You know what I'm saying? Because there are many different type of departments within our community. So that's the beauty about acceptance, as you said so earlier. That's the beauty about the acceptance, the beauty about growth. Because even with activism, you still evolve. Activism evolves. Advocacy evolves.
Yeah.
Case in point, look at where HIB started. Okay. Now look at where it is now. There are so many options for you to live now versus back when it started, it was a death sentence.
The goodbyes. Remember, it was called the goodbyes.
Okay. I mean, so, and all of the funerals that many of us attended for those people that lived during that time. And so, and was adults during that time as well. So it's like, yeah, we've come a mighty long way. And though we have a whole lot of ways to go, but we have come a mighty long way. I'm grateful and thankful that you play a part of that evolution in our community, that you play a part in the contribution of that growth, the contribution of the evolution in that community. And speaking of that, this is a great segue for us to talk about your next two book projects? Because I know you talked about, I think, two book projects and stuff. You got one that's on the way now, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I have two, I've gotten to the place in my life now where I don't really talk about projects because I don't want to boast about them. I just want it to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's there, here it is. But I do have two book projects, and the first one is, healing old wounds with new tools. And that's what I'm working on right now.
Wow. Yeah. That
It,
part.
it really is encompassing everything that, not only just what I went through and what I started to understand in my experience, but I also had to I had to discover my limiting beliefs. I had to uncover and really dig into and find the root of my trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn how to separate myself because I didn't know that I had tools. I didn't know. And when I found out that I had tools, I didn't know how to use them. I didn't know when to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it was very fitting for me to, start writing this book, and I'm working with another person to, work on, healing old wounds with new tools. And it'll be fun. It's a great read. It's a tough read. It's going to be a short book because there's a series that comes behind it. I shared with you the other name. I can't share that name yet because everything is not bought with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I shared with you, and that topic is, that topic is deep, and it's really about, and it's so crazy that I've been doing all this studying the past 4 or 5 months on cellular memory. And now Ayanla has come out, started talking about cellular memory.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you know what?
The generational trauma, the pathology.
Yeah.
That has been passed down from generation to generation, that pathology. So yeah.
I had to, while studying for this book and in its creation, I had to really dig into find and understand, we are, evolution gives you 11 to 14 generations to stop a cellular memory pattern. We are only 4 to 5 generations from slavery. People don't realize that everything in the brain is chemical. It is not visual.
Everything is energy.
Well, it becomes visual when you attach an emotion to it. And that emotion, because that emotion, remember, some of the emotions that we learned was not the definition of that emotion.
That's true. That's true because when we're young, like it's normal for a young person, for someone in their formative years, for a baby, for a child, it's normal for them to mimic what they see because that's how that's the first stages of them learning, the first stages of them developing their brain and their intelligence and their own mind. And so there are certain things that you're going to automatically do and stuff, but that doesn't mean that you're walking in your identity fully as of yet. Continue.
Or even in that, the understanding of that emotion. Because we were not taught to emote. We were not taught and allowed. We were not given a safe space because what was one of the first things, and I don't know if your mama like my mama.
Okay, come on, talk about it.
But one of the first things that I learned as a little boy, and people, when I really dig into this, my mom said, now when we go outside, don't you ask for shit. And when we go over to your auntie's house,
that part,
if she offer you something, don't you take shit from her.
That part.
And I would sit there and be starving, and my aunties knew what was going on, but they didn't want to offend their sister. And they'd be like, baby, you want some food or something? I say, no. And I'd be starving. Guess what I learned how to do? I learned how to lie to the ones I loved.
Wow. Not realizing that you was being programmed and conditioned to do so.
Exactly. So that book, the second book, is diving more into that area, and it's going to be fun. And there's, I got a really cool confirmation from someone, music-wise. So it's coming together. I'm so excited to dive back into music.
Really?
Because basketball wasn't my first love. Music was.
See, this is something I never knew. See, this is something that you and I have in common because music is my first love. So
Yeah.
that's why I knew I was going to be destined to be in the entertainment industry because of me being a singer, songwriter, producer, and doing all of this. That's why, me having the talent agency and all of that stuff.
Right.
But wow, man, that's deep. I can't wait to hear some of your stuff, bro.
It's so interesting. It's so amazing when you really have not only a plan, but a well thought out strategy to the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you grab people and sorry, folks, my business nowadays is I'm a strategic life coach. I have my own business with life coaching, with relationship development, with spiritual development, and trauma, and healing from that trauma. So those are my, I got the alphabets behind my name now.
That's the ultimate thing that you've been doing that many people don't know about. Go ahead.
Yeah. I love, I had to throw that in there real quick.
Yeah.
But diving into these understandings with the book, and then grabbing other people and really starting to notice new things, new ways. And as we were talking about before, about the entertainment industry and its agenda, we really didn't realize the reason why, mainstream people always talking about there's a gay agenda.
Yeah.
Because the gay people in those places, in those high places in the entertainment industry, was always trying to get somebody one beer away because of their own repression.
Mm-hmm.
And repression is one of the most, between repression and procrastination, that's one of the deadliest and dirtiest diseases that you will ever come into contact with. And this book will help you uncover that. There's worksheets that you can work on. But the most important part, the reason why I said this is you have a plan, create a strategy, and then you get a list of people that you talk to, that you share this strategy and plan with, that is your support system. If you have no support, you have no accountability.
Greetings, this is Angela Hutchins, the First Lady of History of Black Gay America, Atlanta chapter, encouraging you to know your history and know your heritage. Stay tuned for more empowering interviews after this break.
Greetings, this is Jim Farmer, Festival Director of Out on Film. Since 1987, Out on Film has been dedicated to supporting the exhibition of LGBT film and video art forms with top-rated films, intimate settings, audience participation, and special celebrity events, which gives moviegoers and sponsors a way to connect and extend a 90-minute film into a lasting relationship. For more information about film submission, the history of the festival, and how to donate or sponsor, please visit outonfilm.org. That's outonfilm.org.
Meak Productions is proud to be an official media partner for this organization.
Greetings, this is Joshua Luke, your editor-in-chief of the newest global media platform for professional African-American gay men. eBay Man embodies the work of CEOs, entrepreneurs, industry experts, community leaders, and change agents who seek to elevate lives and change the perception of the LGBTQ community. And eBay Man is a blend of two cultures coming together to embody the affluent, professional black gay man. For subscription information and updated news, visit ebayman.com. Once again, www.ebanman.com.
eBay Man is the first historic media partner for History of Black Gay America.
I was so young when I realized I believe in magic.
ready to take a bite of Peach ATL. Peach ATL is Gay Atlanta's longest running LGBTQ business certified weekly magazine. We deliver the best in community events, arts, gay culture, and entertainment. Get weekly high-profile celebrity interviews and coverage of the most important events and festivals. Go to peachatl.com to learn more and get your bite of Gay Atlanta.
Hi, this is Miko Hildebrand, editorial director of Peach ATL Magazine, and we look forward to seeing you in print.
That's true. You just validated something that I posted on my Facebook page about a few weeks ago. I think it was before my birthday. And I was saying about how it had something to do with realizing about your inner circle. Realizing that when they say birds of a feather flock together, we don't know how real that is. We don't know the power of energy exchange. And that's why I used to always say, beware of energy thieves and spiritual vampires. Because everybody that's around you is not operating in accountability and responsibility for their own essence, for their own energy, for their own frequency, for their own vibration. And going back, like you said earlier, we can have the tools, but not have the proper education on how to operate in them. And so we find ourselves reacting instead of responding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm still, and like I said, and people don't realize, and like you said before, and I think we both said this, that coming out of the closet is a work in progress. And there are still things that I'm still uncovering. And I'm sure you're doing the same thing too. And even though we're walking in our purpose on a day-to-day basis, there's still some areas that we're still uncovering because this is a journey. The work itself is a journey.
Absolutely.
And and you celebrate those victories as you go along, but this is a work in process, that's a work in progress that's going to continue on to the day you exit out of this planetary dimension. So I'm telling people right now, this is what it means by really loving yourself, because you start operating once you get the correct tools and get the proper education on how to operate in them. Man, you're talking about a beautiful life. You truly understand the difference between surviving and living. You are no longer in survival mode. Go ahead.
And loving.
Yes.
When you, and I promise you, when you really start doing the work, and you'll know when you're starting to do the work because you will ask yourself the questions that you're afraid of. And then you will answer them, because sometimes we forget as we're going about our day and our life, and we're talking to ourselves, and we're like, oh, I got to do this today, focus on this, how am I supposed to get this done? Who are you talking to? Because some of us are in constant communication with our shadow self. And when you have an idea that is from the vision of God, that is the source is pouring into you, this vision and this idea, but you're talking to your shadow self, not the Godhead, and the shadow self is already telling you, oh man, you don't need to be doing that right now, or you can't do that, or your shadow self will pump you up in a talent, because the enemy wants to separate you from your gift, because your gift is where God dwells. I was in that. Basketball, I was talented in basketball. I was able to go far in basketball because I was a workhorse. I worked hard. I practiced, I trained, I eat, sleep. I was obsessed with it. It was my obsession. My trauma and my security too. And the enemy was able to use that to put me in places around low vibration people to dull my frequency, to dull my light, and then also use me against other people to lower their frequency, because I'm in a leadership position as well. So I'm lowering their vibration, and we're sitting in this the entire time, but my gift is in what I'm doing now. And I remember when Google first started. Now, don't y'all be dating me and all that stuff. I remember when Google and Gmail first started, and I didn't even realize it, but my email was bestcoach77. And here it is.
Wow.
Here it is, almost 25 years later. I am a coach.
Wow.
Self-fulfilling
prophecy.
Yeah. I'm not communicating. I'm not communing as often as I used to. Now, don't get me wrong. I still got, the more I learn, the more I don't know. And the more that I realize that I don't know, I'm so eager to unlearn other stuff so that I can free up my capacity to pull in new information.
Absolutely.
And that information, I know that what I read this morning, in my experience, it wasn't for me. I know that it wasn't for me. The understanding and how the message is supposed to come through to the people who are connected to me. So when we talk just like this right now, the understanding that I have is, is from my shadow self, and not resisting that and not avoiding it. And instead of trauma bonding with somebody else, I just give them the information. What you do with it has nothing to do with what I share.
That part.
And I don't have to own that.
That part.
I am not the owner and operator of your manual. That's on you. What I share, you go home, you open up your Bible, you open up if you can go get on some apps and find a date, you can definitely go on some apps and find some education.
That part. It's about priority.
Yeah. Do the work.
Do the work.
You don't do the work, and most people, being busy doesn't equate to doing the work.
Because a lot of folks are busy, but they are not evolving or growing or going anywhere. They're constantly either stillborns or stuck, and I know all about that all too well.
Ooh, being stuck is a.
Thank you. I'll say it for you. Being stuck is a motherfucker.
It is a painful.
Yes, it is.
It's such a painful place to be in, because not only are you stuck, but then you can't get away from other people that are stuck.
Because you don't even realize that your law of attraction was hijacked with that misinformation, that miseducation, that indoctrination. And because of that indoctrination, that's why you keep attracting what you don't want, and not realizing what's happening.
And that's the piece of the puzzle that I had to reconcile with. Being religious versus being spiritual.
That part.
And then studying our people and the origins of certain things and the origins of words and all these other things, because their God stole our God's identity.
That part.
A
lot of y'all that's watch. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your point.
No. I'm just saying. I know that for a fact now. Their God stole our God's identity because they used their God as a psychological tool and weapon to wound the minds of the African slave, because the slave wasn't a slave until you took its psychology away.
That part. Oh, bruh. See, some of y'all ain't ready for that. But guess what, though? Unfortunately, you ain't got no choice, because this is the age of Aquarius, which means this is the uplifting of the veil, baby. What's in dark is coming to the light, and those people that's not walking in their authentic self and their identity and their holistic purpose.
Absolutely.
Well,
you better be ready. You better be ready. And the preparation isn't in your knowledge. The preparation isn't in your knowledge. Be consistent in your wisdom and in your practice. Because I had the words when I was younger, and that's what made me deceitful as a person. Because I didn't know. Again, I had these tools and this gift, and I could read the Bible and I could decipher it with people and have these great conversations. But guess what? I was living that, but my experiences didn't have a definitive definition to where it was truthful. So when I would talk to people, it would come off very fake. It would come off deceitful. Because when you look at somebody and tell them, I want the best for you. Did you pray for them? Did you listen to them? Was you truly effectively communicating with them in such a way that when you were both done, you both walked away? I came with my plate, you came with your plate. What's on your plate is what God needed for you to eat. What's on my plate is what God needed for me to eat. But back in the day, I was so good at what was on my plate. Oh, well, I don't like how this is made, so I got to season it different. Let me put this food and this other stuff in it so that I can eat the way that I want to. I can't manifest my true purpose adding to the plate that God's given me. That's why he doesn't give you more than you can bear. So you learn how to leave your plate alone. I did just like my mama said when I was little. If you don't eat everything on that damn plate, you ain't getting up from here. That's why I was stuck. I wasn't getting up from there.
Oh, old school upbringing, child. Yes. Those were the days.
Those were them days. She can have that. And I know for a fact, because my mama's a witch, I know for a fact she hearing this right now. I still got that fear when I say something and the hairs on the back of my neck. I'm like, oh shit. Mama I'm gonna get a text from mama within the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
I know she feels it.
But you know what? That's another form. That's another thing that you have to deprogram yourself from as well, because that can also entrap you as well. Because though our parents meant well, a lot of their choices that they made in rearing us wasn't always the best choices. And though we can accept the fact that they did the best that they could with what they had at the time, because they couldn't give us more than what they didn't have. And though that is the case, what is also still true is that some of their choices that they made a negative impact on your life, and it caused certain bad decision makings and stuff like that in your adulthood that you're now having to unravel and having to undo at this particular time. So yeah.
Absolutely. I recently had a very, very important conversation with my mom, and in having that conversation, it wasn't like I was determined to have this conversation. I wasn't determined to have the conversation, but it just so happened to consecutive conversations here lately because of COVID, and my mom lost her partner due to COVID. He died from that stuff.
Wow.
And here's the crazy thing. He listened to the state and the president when they lifted it, mask and all this other stuff. Hey, Indiana's good. You don't have to wear your mask. My mama kept her gloves on, kept her mask on. They would hang out. He went to hang out with his friends. He didn't have his mask on. Unfortunately, he met his demise. And man, it's just crazy. It's really crazy having a conversation with my mother on this level, because I was used to just hearing what's going on at home, never about me. Mm-hmm. And I had all this unresolved, deeply rooted fears, trauma, paralyzed, which is why I was gone into other places where I had to restrict myself and shrink, because I was in fear of, because that people pleaser, if I don't do this before mama gets up, even though she didn't tell me to do it, as long as I'm perfect, I can be invisible and not be hurt or beat. I don't get yelled at, I don't get screamed at. So you do that and then you still get it.
Wow.
And so you try to do more of it. So, I had a conversation with her, and fortunate enough for me, my mom's in a place where she could hear me. She can hear me now, because I didn't come to her blaming her for what she did or what she didn't do. Mm-hmm. I shared with her that some of the decisions that she had to make as a mother and as a single woman and as a Black woman with only a high school education, with all the information she had, that's why she was able to make those decisions. However, the effect that it had on me in my life, because sometimes, women, especially Black women, forget that you don't have to give me a role as a little boy. My mama's hurting, I'm taking care of mama. I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say.
That's right.
So I took on a leadership role as a 5-year-old who was trying to cut grass and trying to raise his baby sister and do her milk and all that stuff for her, because, mom was in other places. Mm-hmm. And so having this conversation with her and being able to not just unload on her, but to share with her that these are moments as a man in love with himself. I am no longer in love with the thought of being in love. I'm in love with myself.
Beautiful.
And I get to share that space with my mom, who now, when I came out to her about being gay, but now I'm actually truly inviting her into this space because I was only with her for up till I was 13 years old, you know? And the unfortunate events that led up to, after that, where, my mom got me to 13 years old. That's all God wanted for her in my life. Her job was done. I wasn't willing to accept that. I wanted my mama. I wanted to be with my mama. I wanted to be with my sisters, but that wasn't God's plan. And so now getting to this moment and getting to this day where we can have this conversation where I don't have to be invisible anymore. I don't have to shrink. I don't have to second guess my words because I no longer am seeking her validation for who I am and where I'm going. It doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting her. I just respect God more and love her the way that she needs to be loved now. And that's the beauty of, the whole thing about having conversations with your parents. If you need to talk to them, don't talk to them in blaming ways. Well, you did this and you did that and that made me do this. No, you're an adult now. Your decisions are your decisions. Now, there is a residual and residue.
That's true.
An effect on you. But when you take responsibility of the decision, because just because there's these things that you inherit doesn't mean that you have to accept it.
That's true.
So, you just do the work.
Just keep doing the work, man. Bruh, you and I, we can go on forever. Unfortunately, this is a show that they only give us limited time. We're going to keep you in conversation, man. Of course, we're going to probably bring you back on even more. So be on the lookout for that. And for those people who are viewing, they want to find out more information about this historic legend right here that I'm chatting with right now. Just check him out on his official website at www.demarcomajors.com. Once again, that's DeMarcoMajors.com. All of that information should be located at the bottom of your screen. Is your social media handles and stuff like that the same?
Yes.
Just DeMarco Majors?
My first name. Yeah.
Or just DeMarco?
It's DeMarco Majors.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, like I said, on social media, which is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it's at DeMarco Majors. And not
Twitter. That is not me on Twitter. I found out that there's some Twitter that has my name, and there's a lot of porn and stuff on there. That is not me. I do not do Twitter. It's too consuming. So I don't do Twitter. So if you go to Twitter and you see my name, that's not me.
Oh, okay then. Glad you cleared that up.
Because if you start seeing booty holes and dick and all that stuff, trust me, that's not me. I'm not saying that I don't have my own arsenal that I look at.
Okay. But we keep things in their proper perspective.
Right.
I love it, man. We're just ending it on this fun note. For those people that want to continue to follow what we're doing, once again, go to our official website, which is currently under new development now. That's blkgayusa.meakproductions.com. All of that should be located at the bottom of your screen. And our social media handles, because we're only on Facebook and Instagram for this particular division. That's History BLKGAY USA on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter, we're at History BLKGAY US. So once again, that information is located at the bottom of the screen. DeMarco, once again, happy reunion. I'm so glad that we're back in contact with each other. I know you're going to give us more info about the next book that's coming out in project, so I'm excited to break news about that. And I know we're going to be staying in touch. And to everybody that's viewing us right now, don't forget to continue to stay encouraged and remember to continue to know your history and know your heritage. Until our next episode, happy holidays.
Take care.